Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. And this is your tip of the week, and it's all about clothing makeovers. Simple little things that you can do to change the look of your clothing. And if you're like me, I have a problem getting clothing to fit in length. I'm very short and most of the clothing is too long. So let's take a look at a pair of denim jeans that I have in which I shortened them. When you shorten denim jeans and you want them exactly the way they looked when you purchased them, it never quite turns out the same because of the thread. That's the biggest problem. We don't always have access to that exact color of thread. So it's very noticeable. Then if you use a dark thread, the color of your denim, it also shows, well, yeah, they probably hemmed them. But here's a technique I did in which I cut it to the length I wanted and I fringed the bottom of it. Now this technique works best on 100% cotton denim. This is your stretch denim. So there's a little bit of elastic fibers in it besides your cotton, but it still turns out really, really well. And then here is something I wear quite often in the summer, is a pair, or I should say, is a pair of skirts. In other words, it has shorts on the inside and then the skirt on top. And when I bought it, it was too long and it looked kind of funny on me. It was actually uncomfortable. So I trimmed it off and then did this. So basically what you have to do is you just cut little slits and then you kind of pull the threads on it a little bit and even put it in the washing machine. And that will help frizz it up a little bit. So I'm going to refer you to a tutorial that will show you exactly what you need to do. And when you're in that tutorial, I want to show you one other thing that you can do. Is I know some of you are probably into the real shabby chic look. And in that tutorial, I show you how to give it this old grungy look, which is very popular. You can do this on children's clothing. I recently bought my grandson a denim jacket and it already had this on there. So if you've got existing clothing you want to do this to, it's not very difficult at all to do. Here's a pair of stretch denim that I wanted to turn into capri length pants, because when I buy capri length pants, they come to my ankle instead of at mid-calf. So you can even do that, really shorten them up, do them to your shorts also. Now if you want detailed instructions on how to do this, you want to go below your YouTube screen and look for the link to this particular tutorial. Now let's move on to some other goodies. Have you ever bought a sweatshirt and you put it on and you feel like you look like you're ready to go jogging? Now I find sweatshirts very comfortable, but sometimes you want them to look a little more stylish. So here's a neckline I softened on here, and this is a really simple technique. All you do is fold the neckline down to the front and stitch it down, and it really softens up the neckline. Now sweatshirts, there's a lot you can do to change them around. So let's look at the bottom of this sweatshirt now. And I cut some of it off at the bottom and added this cotton fabric to look like I was wearing another shirt underneath. Now this is really an easy technique. Now in all of these things that I'm showing you, they're going to be tutorials down there. For instance, how to change the denim jeans and how to change sweatshirts. Now let's take a look at another sweatshirt. All of the sweatshirt makeovers that I have done that I'm showing you were just those inexpensive sweatshirts from Walmart made by Hanes. So at the neckline here, I completely cut the neckline off that came with the shirt. And then I did a decorative stitch over the edge to finish it off. And then on the bottom of the sleeves and the bottom of the shirt, I cut it off to the length that I wanted and then added this little lace. And it almost looks more like a little summer top than a thick sweatshirt you would wear to go out jogging in. So let's look at another one. This sweatshirt, I really redid the neckline here, and this really is not difficult. It's really quite simple. Again, I cut the entire neckline off that came with the shirt. Then I cut a little slit. I did a decorative stitch around the edges, folded the edges over, put some little buttons on there. And then on the sleeves, I cut the sleeves shorter, just did a decorative edge on the bottom, and then just folded up to give a real casual look. And now here on the bottom, on each side, I cut a slit, did a decorative stitch, and put a button there. So this sweatshirt has a completely different look than what it originally was. Here is a t-shirt that I added these large eyelets to. And sometimes I keep calling them grommets because they look just like grommets, but they're eyelets, grommets, whatever you really want to call them. And this is a decorative trim that you can put on it. Now let's look at the tools that I used. Dritz makes these extra large eyelets, and I purchased them from Walmart, and you also need to purchase the little tool kit. And this is really, really easy to use. What you want to do is just mark on your shirt or top, or even you can put them on pants too, where you want the grommet to go on, or eyelet. You cut a little hole and then you put the grommet eyelet right over the hole. So let's take a look at a demonstration on how you put the actual eyelets on. After you've got the interfacing on, then take the grommet with the shorter or shallower side, place it over, make sure it's in there, take your setter, place it on top, take a hammer and zap it. And there you go. You have your grommet on there. Then if you want, I recommend you can go and trim some of the interfacing off if you would like. If you're a beginner at sewing clothing, you have to understand you want to start out with something really, really simple. Don't go buy an expensive pattern and then you're confused, you don't understand how to read it. You want to start with something simple. Here is a circle top that doesn't need a pattern at all. In the tutorial, I show you how to lay out your fabric, cut it, and how to cover the raw edges. And you can make this any size you want. So it doesn't take really a lot of skills to put this together. Now let's move on to a few other things that takes very little skill to do. This is a summer top that also does not require a pattern. And all you need, of course, is a straight stitch on your sewing machine. You don't need anything fancy for this. And I explain in the tutorial how to measure your body so you can make it any size for any age. This has about 1 inch wide elastic up here in the top. You can make this ruffle any size you want. And I also explain where and how to put these little straps on. And the straps are really easy. And in the hem, it's just a fold over hem and a straight stitch to put it down. You can make this out of any fabric of your choice, and it's really a comfortable top to wear for the summer. When I was a young adult back in the 1970s, and that was a long time ago, this style of dress was very, very popular, and you can still get this fabric today. You can get it at Joann Fabrics and Crafts. They don't have a large selection, but they do have it. What's neat about this is you measure your body to see how wide you need it to be, and then you just stitch the raw edges together and voila, you've got a dress or a blouse. This is actually long, so if you're a really tall person, it might come like to your knee, and then a shorter person like me, it might come below your knee. You can even cut it to a shorter length for a child, or if you want a shorter blouse. And then all you need to find is some fabric that goes with it to make the little straps. This is really easy, so consider making something like this for summer. This is a blouse I bought quite a few years ago, and I just love it. It's a very comfortable blouse, very cool. It's great for spring and summer. The problem is I lost some weight and it was getting kind of big on me, but I really loved it. So I took this blouse and I duplicated it, making it a little smaller. And I also added the lace that's on the bottom. I also added it to the sleeves, and I also made the neckline a little smaller because this kept falling off. So let me show you what it looked like when I was done. Isn't this pretty? I just loved how it turned out. I love yellow, especially to wear it in the summer, and I bought this fabric at Joann Fabrics and Crafts, and it's very similar to the fabric, the texture is on the previous blouse. This lace trim I bought at Walmart. It was very inexpensive. And then I purchased a package of wooden beads to hang on the ends of this little necktie here. And I just loved how it turned out. So if you've got a simple top, these are those dolman sleeves that I talked about in the previous tip of the week. Really, really easy sleeves. So look through your wardrobe to see if you have a blouse with dolman sleeves. Now they could be a very short dolman or a long, it doesn't matter. They're really easy to do. Now let's take a look at another top that I duplicated that has the dolman sleeves, but they're really, really short. They're just like a little cap sleeve. This is the blouse I made, and I duplicated it from a previous blouse. And the previous blouse was a stretch knit. So I made sure that I bought a stretch knit. So if you're trying to duplicate up top, make sure you use the same type of fabric, because if you're duplicating a stretch knit top and you use cotton, I guarantee you it's not going to fit. So you want to use the same type of fabric. The difference that I did here was at the seam up here or the shoulder seam, I inserted this little kind of eyelet lace. I hope you can see it. And it just gives it a really nice summer, airier look. This is a very comfortable shirt and so simple. Everything else, all the raw edges around the sleeves and the hem were just serged at the bottom and the ends of the armholes here, folded over and stitched. But up here I did stitch a little narrow neckband around it. Really, really simple project to do. If you're a beginner and you have never sewn clothing before, then I would start with something like that circle top. That's really, really easy. If you want to do some of the makeovers, try the little grommet one. That's really quick, where you just put the little holes in your shirt and put the little grommet eyelets over it. And then maybe move on to maybe doing a little hem and a pair of denim jeans just to try to change the look. If you want to buy a clothing pattern, try to look for patterns like New Look. That's a brand name. So easy. A lot of Simplicity also has some simple ones. Butterick, all of that. So look for those beginners, really basic patterns. When you go into Joann's, at least at my Joann's, they have a little wall in which they have all of the beginner patterns on display on that wall. So look those over. And remember, start with a simple top. Don't pick a double-breasted suit to start out with, because you're going to be way in over your head. You've spent a lot of money and you're not going to like the outcome at all. Well, I hope this tip of the week was helpful to you and that you feel inspired to start working with some clothing projects. All of these projects, plus many others, will be listed below your YouTube screen. So you're going to scroll down to the description section. Click on the down arrow to expand it open, and then you'll see a playlist link you can click on. So just look through that list of tutorials, looking for some of these that are in there, and see if one of them really inspires you to get started. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing! If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.